Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. I'm Nate Harlacker.
And I'm Danny Johnson.
Messiah's campus ministries often hosted their Hymn Sing Chapel last Tuesday night. The chapel gave students the opportunity to come together and worship God through classics like Thou My Vision, Jesus Loves Me, as well as lesser-known hymns from other countries. Ethan Gregory has the story.
I have the privilege a couple times each semester of leading this particular hymn sing chapel. Of course, I give shape to the other Tuesday and Thursday morning chapels, but this one is unique because we use an actual hymnal and people get to choose their favorite hymns or their most meaningful hymns, or sometimes, as we discover, hymns that they don't even know and we don't even know, and they just think it sounds funny, and so we go ahead and sing that anyway. So it's usually a really meaningful time with diverse expressions of music. The tunes are different, so our ears hear something different. The texts are poetic. They're full of meaning, and they sort of help us capture the imagination in a different way.
Messiah SAB hosted their annual Thrift and Flip event last Monday night. Thrift and Flip gave Messiah's fashionable and philanthropic students the opportunity to sell their most stylish attire. The items varied from t-shirts and pants to jewelry and books. Students who purchased items walked away with refreshed wardrobes and heightened spirits, knowing they helped out small on-campus businesses.
Tonight we have the Thrift and Flip, which is an event where students can sign up to sell their clothes and jewelry and other items that they just have lying around that they have no need for and they want to give to others. This is an event that SAB has done in the past, and people were asking, like, oh, is the Thrift and Flip going to come back? Oh, are we going to do like clothes selling? So obviously it's popular with the student body, so that's why I decided to bring it back, because we're trying to give activities to have the student body look forward to doing things and know who SAB is.
Stay tuned to YBTV to stay up to date on upcoming SAB events, including the Valentine's Day brunch coming up next week and more throughout the semester.
And on Thursday night, Messiah's Human Rights Association hosted What's the Tea for the first event of the semester. The event participate in a panel discussion about current human rights issues over tea and snacks. The event highlighted some of the lesser-known human rights issues, both domestically and internationally, and the importance of students having a broader scope of knowledge regarding human rights.
Coming to events like these, where we elevate the voices of international students and elevate the voices of international struggles, helps us to remember that we are a part of a world that is so much bigger than just our own campus, and hopefully encourages students to be more involved in what's happening, both domestically in our country as a whole and also internationally, as a global issues as well.
Later on in the evening, students had the opportunity to ask their own questions, as well as learn about ways they could get involved with both HRA and other human rights groups. If you want to get involved, you can follow HRA at HRA Messiah on Instagram, or stay tuned to YBTV to stay updated on their upcoming events.
Thank you, Nate. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more Falcon Update live on YBTV after the break.
think one of the major distinctives of a Messiah University nursing degree is our Christ preeminent approach to our teaching. We really focus on teaching students that they are the hands and feet of Christ. At Messiah University, we offer a very robust menu of nursing programs. We have our 4-year traditional BSN program in person here on campus, and then we offer a variety of online nursing programs. For example, we have the RN to BSN degree completion, 2 master's tracks, and then we have the dual degree, MSN, MBA degree, as well as 2 Doctor of Nursing practice tracks. And then we also offer postmaster's certificates in nursing administration and nursing education. We have maintained and sustained a very high NCLEX pass rate, the National Council Licensing Exam for registered nurses. As well, we are fully accredited by the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education. We also prepare our students here at Messiah University by introducing them to a variety of clinical scenarios in our simulation labs. And so students have an opportunity to practice clinical, hands-on care before they encounter that experience in the clinical setting. Many of our nursing faculty are still practicing as a nurse clinician in the specialty in which they teach. And that's true at the graduate level and the undergraduate level. We've been teaching nursing students at Messiah University for more than 3 decades. And over those years, our Messiah graduates have earned a stellar reputation in our community. They are known for their compassionate caring, for their expert clinical skills, and really importantly, for their ethical approach to care. And so our community agencies and our clinical partners really value Messiah graduates.
Welcome back. I'm Nate Harlacker.
And I'm Danny Johnson. Nate, this past Friday was Groundhog Day, and Punxsutawney Phil predicts an early spring. What do you think about that?
Well, Danny, that groundhog is just rarely right, but you know who's always right? My man, Caleb Kukin. Caleb Kukin brings you this week's Falcon forecast. Caleb?
Nate, Danny, thank you guys so much. And on Friday, it was a weatherman's dream. It was Groundhog Day, and good old Phil here, he did not see his shadow, which means spring is on its way. I also did not see my shadow on Friday, so if that doesn't tell you spring's coming, I don't know what does. But let's look at an actual weather forecast here. Right now, 37 degrees, a little bit cool, but we did see temperatures in the 40s today and also a lot of sunshine. Temperatures will dip into the 20s tonight, though. No rain this entire week, as we'll see. No rain today either. But let's look at our next slide here. Tuesday is going to be more of the same. Just another nice, clear day. Temperatures in the 20s in the morning, so it might be a brisk walk to class. But as we move throughout the day, we're going to get into the mid-40s again and sunshine all throughout the day. Why are these temperatures getting warmer, you may ask, in February? Well, let's take a look at that right now. We got some warm fronts coming up from the Gulf of Mexico right now. You see it there, just kind of working its way up to PA. And that's why we're kind of seeing these more spring-like temperatures right now in February, maybe temperatures we'd see in late February or early March. Right now in the very beginning of February. So let's take a look at what the temperatures are going to look like for the rest of the week here. And you'll see temperatures about the same Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of in those 40s area, both sunny. But then we're going to see those fronts really come up here and bring the temperatures into the 50s. And Saturday is going to be the highlight of them all. 57 degrees on Saturday, partly cloudy. And then you see on Monday is going to be the only rain in the next 7 days. So, hey, looking forward to another beautiful week in weather. Guys, sending it back to you.
Thanks, Caleb. Okay, Nate, on a serious note, what is your favorite meal on campus?
You know, I would have to say the flatbreads from Falcon. You just can never go wrong with them. What about you?
I'm really digging the new pasta that they have at the Union. The only thing is that it takes a while, so if you only have like 15 minutes to wait, it's not the way to go, but they are to die for.
You know, I absolutely agree with you because I've only had them twice. And I absolutely agree, it takes quite a while, but I mean, it's well worth it when you get it. But this week, Sarah Marshall asked students on campus the same exact question. Sarah?
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Falcon on the Street. I'm Sarah Marshall, and this week we're asking students what's their favorite on-campus meal. Let's see what they have to say.
Well, it was first the BYOC I went from last semester, and then I switched to pasta. But now I've discovered the create your own bowl. You put it with taco meat, like all the other fixins and like the good stuff. Anything I really like at a meal. It's so good. I do after every workout. It feels amazing, and I call it like kind of like my bulk meal. That sounds kind of cringy, but yeah, that's really good. You should try it.
I like the yogurt parfait with M&Ms and granola.
My favorite on-campus meal would probably be the gluten-free pizza with pineapple and pepperoni and chicken on it.
Definitely warm cooking day. That's my favorite meal.
Chicken and waffles.
So my favorite on-campus meal would probably be the acai bowl with granola and chocolate chips.
I think the Chipotle chicken sandwiches are the end.
The Union barbecue chicken pizza's been going crazy lately.
On-campus meal? Oh, I really like the beef bulgogi that they have occasionally. I think they had it last semester. I'm not sure if they're doing it this semester. But I really enjoy that.
And that's all for Falcon on the Street. For YBTV, I'm Sarah Marshall.
Thanks, Sarah. Ethan Gregory is back again for this week's campus calendar. Take it away, Ethan.
Good evening. I'm Ethan Gregory, and welcome back to this week's edition of Campus Calendar. It's time to get those calendars out and see what's going on this week. On Tuesday, a prayer night will be held in Fry 150 by the Messiah Advocates for Life Club. This event is cost-free and will be a time for students and faculty to come together for a night of prayer for the unborn as well as the pro-life movement. After coming off of a 64-54 win on Saturday, the Messiah men's basketball team will look to win again at home against top conference foe Widener on Wednesday night. The Falcons would love to have some support as they look to upset the nationally ranked Pride in what will be a tough game. Now over to Saturday afternoon. SAB will be hosting a Valentine's brunch in Jordan Atrium from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. SAB will celebrate by having brunch, crafts, and games. In order to attend this event, you will need to sign up on February 6th at 4 p.m. at the OSC desk located in the Larson Student Union. Want to learn how to make an effective Valentine's card? SAB has you covered on Sunday with a DIY Valentine's Day cards activity in the Jordan Lounge and Atrium from 6 to 8 p.m. This is a great opportunity to learn how to make Valentine's cards for your special person or maybe a couple special persons. Lastly, every day is ice cream day in Lottie, and with that being said, for YBTV, I'm Ethan Gregory.
Thanks, Ethan. Charlie Jones brings you this week's edition of The Vault. Charlie?
Thanks so much, Danny. Welcome back to The Vault, where I unlock Messiah's history 1 week at a time. I'm your host, Charlie Jones. Tonight's topic? Doors. But not just any doors. I'm talking about Messiah's Wittenberg doors. Back in 1963, Messiah's student government decided to put up a door-shaped bulletin board for students to publicly share their thoughts and opinions on campus. The idea came from Wittenberg Church, where Martin Luther nailed his controversial 95 Theses to the church's door, which sparked the Protestant Reformation in 1517. The first door was hung in the basement of Old Main and was later turned into an announcement board for SGA until it was stolen in the 1980s. The thief was never caught, but the door was eventually returned in 2003. The second door was built in 1968 to provide more room for people to share their ideas. It was moved to the Eisenhower Campus Center and promptly stolen in 1974, but was eventually returned and rehung, only to be stolen again on a dare by Joe Chonko and Tim Fenchley. The third door lasted the longest, though at one point it was broken in half by an unknown vandal. The pieces were recovered, the door was repaired and placed back on the wall until it was stolen in 1989 to protest the increasingly vulgar comments being posted. It was then replaced by the recovered second door, which was stolen in 1995, putting an end to the legacy of the doors for good. In 2017, both missing doors were returned for the 500th anniversary of Luther's Theses, along with letters from the alumni who took them and a plaque to commemorate Joe Chonko, who tragically passed in 2001. All three doors are currently on display in the Murray Library archives, so I would highly recommend going to check them out. Well, that's all for now. Make sure to tune in next time when I unlock the vault.
Charlie, that was phenomenal. Kelly would be proud.
Coming up next, we have Brandon Cruz and James Hellman with sports.
And don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more Falcon Update live on YBTV after the break.
What drew me to Messiah was when I was looking for graduate programs, that it was real people and they were welcoming me to the program. They were interested in who I was as a person, they were interested in my career goals, and they truly just welcomed me before I was even a student.
At Messiah University, in our graduate program of Business and Leadership, we offer an MBA with various concentrations, a Master of Arts in Healthcare Leadership, a Master of Arts in Strategic Leadership, and various graduate certificates. All of our graduate programs in Business and Leadership are accredited by ACBSP, which is the main governing body for business programs, both at the graduate and undergraduate level.
So I found that the online instruction at Messiah was high quality. Definitely a good experience, and an experience that maintained community, even though we were separated by geography sometimes of considerable distances.
Our online courses are capped at 15. This enables students to really develop a deep connection with faculty as they're being mentored throughout the program.
They brought their business experience to every single class. So our professors are teaching us, this is what it's like in the real world, and this is how you can take all the stuff out of this book, all this leadership theory, and practically apply it in the workplace.
I would highly recommend Messiah's programs because I feel very cared for by the faculty. They do a great job of making you apply your faith to where you're working. The MBA program is a good reminder that you can be a faithful business professional, and I just feel like I'm becoming a better person and I'm going to be a better future leader because of this program.
Sort of under the impression that I needed to find like one thing that was my thing, and that there was somehow greater purpose in finding that one thing. But what I learned from studying at Messiah with a liberal arts education, with an education that really dignifies a number of pursuits, was that yes, I'm called to certain things in certain times in my life, but the adventure continues. All the things that God has given us are good things. They all can be ways in which we can further the kingdom, ways in which we can do good in our world. And so the adventure of finding which one to engage in at which time and how to do the best you can with the opportunity before you is one that we should all be enjoying, that God has given us. And that's a perspective that I credit Messiah with helping me form and helping me see.
Absolutely filthy goal there.
Boom goes the dynamite.
This is YBTV Sports. I'm Brandon Cruz.
And I'm James Hellman. Messiah Winter Athletics has been in full swing for a good while now, and we're here to tell you all about it.
Let's start off with talking about the wrestling team as they took on the York College Spartans on Friday. The Falcons dominated, winning their first 8 matches en route to a big 37-9 win. Wrestling's next match is this Friday at E-Town.
Big win for wrestling, Brandon. The men's track team was also in action over the weekend, competing in the Plex Shootout hosted by Alvernia. The highlight of the day for the Falcons was the victory in the mile by Kyle Costello. The Falcons also added 4 top 3 finishes as well. They are back in action on Friday and for the Blue and White Invitational.
Impressive weekend for those Messiah sports teams.
Yes, Brandon, and let's see what some of the other teams were up to in this week's edition of the Falcon 4. The Messiah men's volleyball team faced another difficult matchup on Thursday with the number 4 ranked team in the country, Cal Lutheran, visiting Grantham. After losing the first set, the Falcons looked to bounce back with some big offense from Alex Cagaro. So here, Falcons up 11-10, but down 1 set to nothing. We're going to see Christian Wolf with the big serve, and the overpass going to be a little too far, and Cagaro, what a kill right there. Gets the height, gets it right back, and it's going to go up 12-10. As we're going to take another look at that one. Christian Wolf, good serve. The defense can't deal with it, and bang, what a spike right there. Cagaro led the Falcons on the night with 9 kills, but unfortunately the Falcons would fall 3-0 against a tough competition. Over the weekend, after losing the first contest of the Keene Invitational to Keene University, the Falcons would bounce back in a 5-set thriller, defeating Randolph-Macon College. The team will be back in action February 10th at Lancaster Bible College.
Staying in Hitchcock Arena, Messiah men's basketball matched up against Albright College on Saturday, looking to earn their first conference win of the season. The Falcons would build a lead early on in the game, thanks to plays like this. Falcons bring it up, looking to get it to Johnny McBride, and he finds Caleb Thompson, who finishes acrobatically. Look at that pass by McBride, great vision, and Caleb Thompson using all of his strength. He's fired up, and the Falcons up 11-3 here. The Falcons would go up and never look back, as they would beat Albright by the score of 64-54. Senior guard Bryce Coletti led all scorers with 27 points, and Caleb Thompson added 10 points and 6 rebounds. The Falcons are back in action again on Wednesday when they face the Widener Pride at home.
Messiah women's basketball team looked to continue their undefeated run in MAC conference play as the Alvernia Golden Wolves visited Hitchcock Arena on Wednesday. Early on in the game, the Falcons were piling on the pressure, and Sydney Hoffman added to it with this impressive play. So here we see Messiah up early in the first quarter. Inbound play, Hoffman's going to get it at the top of the arc. She's going to hand it off to Chloe Milanese, who's going to pull the three. It's going to miss, but after a little fight for the rebound, Hoffman's going to get it. And look at that. No look. Bit of a circus shot there from Sydney Hoffman as she's going to get that one to fall. We're going to look again. Once again, missed the three-pointer, but the rebound rolls around between three people. Maybe a little bit of luck there, but Hoffman finds it, and she puts it away. The Falcons would dominate in this contest, winning by a score of 81-56, with Reese Harden and Morgan Adams both putting up 16 points. The Falcons were also in action on Saturday, but we will take a look at that game in just a moment.
Maybe even less than a moment, James, because our final highlight of the night comes from the other women's basketball game this week on Saturday against Albright, where Charlotte Milanese looked to attack early with a little bit of added creativity. And Milanese here gets the steal. She's got a wide open lane with Albright defender coming, spins. What a move to finish inside. As we see that again, Milanese sees the defender coming, gets out of the way, puts it in, and the Falcons would also dominate Albright, winning by a score of 70-46. Reese Harden and Morgan Adams were once again the leading scorers, scoring 19 and 13 points respectively. The Falcons are back in action on Wednesday night at Widener. James, I know the soccer season has been over for quite a long time now, but I'm still thinking about the season our women's soccer team had this year.
Yeah, Brandon, it has been a while, but the Falcons did indeed have another incredible season, making it all the way to the Final Four for the second straight year. Making the Final Four may have been the women's team's greatest accomplishment this season, but a member of the Falcons recently garnered a truly special honor. Back in December, midfielder Christina Axelson was named the Division III Women's Soccer National Player of the Year for the 2023 season. Axelson became the 6th in program history to win the award, and our very own Caleb Kukin had a chance to talk to her about this monumental achievement.
Christina Axelson walking up to take this one.
I was very, very nervous for that PK, but I had actually just talked to my friend at halftime about how nervous I was, and we were just talking, and we both kind of said at the same time something that we had been saying to each other, which is it's already written.
This is a big moment in this game. Early in the second half, Falcons have the chance to go up by 2 goals.
The Lord had a plan and an outcome for the game. So when I stepped up to the PK to take it, I just kept repeating that in my mind. It's already written, it's already written.
Here it is, Christina Axelson on the penalty kick. Axelson goes the correct way to her left. Keeper dives to her left. And Christina Axelson, the Falcons All-American player in the field, gives them a 3-1 lead.
Moments like that is why Christina Axelson captured the Division III National Player of the Year award.
It was a very surreal moment, and I honestly didn't really have words to say when the lady called me and told me. Honestly, the only thing that I kept saying, I just kept saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
According to head coach Scott Fry, Axelson wasn't even playing her natural position this year.
And I think what's interesting, I would say, we probably asked her this year to play in a position that doesn't necessarily suit her ideally. If I look at Christina, I think she's a defensive midfielder. She's a ball winner, she nicks things, she can break pressure, she changes the field, that's what she does. but we need her to be a little bit more of an attacking player.
So when Coach asked me to move, I was excited to do it because I knew that it was what we needed for the team. So definitely willing, but definitely nervous. And I think that's why winning was so surreal, because I didn't really know if I was even good at the position because I wasn't used to playing it.
We needed a little more push in the front end if we could get it. And because that's not her natural thing to score goals. And, you know, she hasn't scored a ton of goals, but she's scored some big goals.
Whipped in.
Oh, there's a goal for the Falcons!
14
the
seconds
Falcons
left.
are going to win this one 2-1! Axelson winding up. Axelson, oh, what a strike that is. Christina Axelson, absolutely superb.
For Axelson, the big moments and accolades aren't even the best parts of playing soccer for Messiah.
I am just so blessed to be able to play for this program. Just the girls on the team and, again, the staff, like, they just make it so worth it. And we all love the Lord and serve Him. And because of that, it allows us to just play soccer freely and to just do it for Him. And it just takes the pressure off. So this program has really formed me into, I think, the woman that I am and the player that I am today.
For YBTV Sports, I'm Caleb Kukin.
Thank you, Caleb. And once again, congratulations, Christina.
That wraps up YBTV Sports on Falcon Update, but don't go anywhere. We will be right back with YB Tonight after the break.
Oh,
hey, are you okay?
I just had a really good dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're on in 60 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go.
Yeah, you just, I'll be out there. Wait a minute. Good evening and welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Caleb Kukin, your host for the night. We've got a great show for you guys tonight. first, we will sit down with Elisa, who will talk about the Sustainability Club, and then Abby Zimmerman will sit down with us for a quick interview before playing the violin. But before we jump into the interviews, let's take a look at this week's Bird's Eye View. I'm Caleb Kukin, and this week for Bird's Eye View, we're meeting with the Office of Sustainability, and they're taking us up to Lottie to check out their composting machine. All right, Elisa, so what are we going to be doing today?
Today we are going to be going over the compost system that exists in Lottie.
All right, let's go.
What goes on behind the scenes? The accumulator grabs the food off the plate, it's all washed off, and then the water is taken out of this mixture. So you're left with the food waste, and all of this is stored into bins that will eventually be taken back to the back 40.
So after seeing all this stuff, what would you like to remind students about all of this?
Right. I would like to remind students that leaving their food on their plates is actually a good thing, that there's a purpose for it, and that we're using it on Messiah's campus to create compost that will eventually go back into our gardens and do more good for our earth.
All right, Elisa, thank you so much for showing us the inner workings of Lottie. I've never actually been in there before.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're able to see us today.
That's all for Bird's Eye View. For YBTV, I'm Caleb Kukin. That was really neat, but don't go anywhere. After the break, I'll sit down with Elisa for an interview about some of the other ventures Sustainability Club has on campus. We'll be right back.
Being able to talk about faith and Christianity and what that means is important to me, because working in a secular environment, a lot of times questions of ethics and morality come into play. And I think having a faith-based education really equips people and our students to be able to go out into the workforce and be able to serve their communities ethically and morally and be confident about who they are in their Christianity.
Welcome back. I'm here with Elisa Wu, and we're going to talk about the Office of Sustainability. Elisa, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what's your position within the Office of Sustainability on campus?
I am our waste coordinator. So there are 8 different positions. There's waste, biodiversity, energy, food, engagement, communication, and compost.
And that's a little bit what we saw in that bird's eye view there, all the composting machine. So if you were to take us through just a day in your position, what would that look like?
It really depends on the week and what's going on. During this time of the year, it's working on Campus Race's Zero Waste events. At different parts of the year, it might be recycling waste cartridges, like for printers. It could also be working for Move Out, so getting the logistics set up for that.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned the Race for Zero Waste. So it's starting here shortly. What can you tell us about the Campus Race to Zero Waste?
Yeah, it actually started this past week.
Okay.
Our kickoff was Library Bingo. And so it's 8 different events, one per single week, but it's also a competition between our school and other schools around the nation. And we're looking at to see how much waste we're producing, whether that's both through trash, recycling, and organics.
Yeah, and you were mentioning like some of the stuff Messiah might do better at. What are some of the things Messiah might be doing better at in the Campus Race to Zero Waste?
Things that we could do better, I would look at our recycling numbers. I think it's something that's a little bit difficult, just given that if you have recycling that isn't properly sorted or cleaned, then the whole batch gets disposed of, so that kind of causes issues. But things that we're doing pretty well in would have to be our organics category. Not many schools compost, so.
Yeah, so like just taking us through that bird's eye view we went on, how often do you go into the inner workings of Lottie and like check up on like that type of stuff there?
So I don't have to do that quite as often as I
Okay.
used to. We have our compost position, which is awesome. So we have our worker who will pick up from that outside of Lottie with the truck. We no longer have to go in. Previously did, but we changed our system so that way it was just more convenient for everyone and we can maximize the amount of compost we're collecting.
Yeah, and just another question here is, what can you tell us about Messiah's Food Recovery Network?
So Food Recovery Network, also known as FRN, is where we collect food from Lottie, frozen pans, and we transport them to Men's Bethesda in Harrisburg. And so this isn't just our campus, but as well, it's a program for universities in particular, just because we have these massive buffet-style dining halls that have lots of access. So instead of throwing that out or putting them to compost is better than throwing them out, of course, but if people can still eat this food, they should have that opportunity.
Yeah, and what can you tell us about the green initiatives and like the campus garden?
So there's a lot of things that we do on campus to be considered green. Everything from tree plantings. This past year, we planted, I believe, around 600 little saplings. As well as within our garden, like how you mentioned, those are opportunities for volunteers to come in, and we have a CSA, which is community-supported agriculture, where we are able to use compost from our garden and compost from food, put it into our garden to then create food that will eventually go back to like people on the Messiah's campus.
Yeah, so you're kind of talking about all these big things that sustainability does around campus. What are some things that might be a little bit lesser known that someone might not really know on campus that you guys do?
I think a big thing, I mean not anymore, but kind of would be compost. I think a lot of people aren't sure of what it is or how they can do it. And you had already mentioned before that there's the accumulator in Lottie, that's a great opportunity, but also people who are in apartments or dorms have that ability as well with our compost buckets that they can take and then they would dispose of at either an extension bin or our upper garden.
Okay, and say a student comes into your office and they're interested in joining the Office of Sustainability. What would be like your 30-second pitch for them?
I think there's two different ways to view that question. I think if they want to be a member of our team and have that job position, I think if they're just invested in sustainability and willing to learn about how to do that, or if they already have a sustainability background, I think they'd be perfect for the role. If it's just becoming more involved with sustainability on campus, that could look like coming to some of our events or joining volunteer hours.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Campus Race to Zero Waste going on right now. Is there any other events sustainability is going to be putting on in the coming days, coming weeks?
Well, this upcoming Thursday, there's going to be sustainability trivia in Fry 110 from 7 to 8. And the week after that, we'll have a Valentine's Day card making using materials that would typically be thrown out.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for you today, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us. And right after the break, we'll talk to Abby Zimmerman about her violin playing.
Higher education is in deep need of bright, caring, and capable students, people who desire to effect positive change, who lead out of their core values and their identity in Christ. And at Messiah's program, we take seriously the calling to equip students to do just that.
Our graduate program has two pathways that we focus on. One is a degree in higher education with concentration areas, and the other is the degree in intercollegiate athletic leadership.
The online courses in the program made it really flexible. As a working professional, it was easy to stay on top of my coursework. I feel like the online environment didn't detract any from that personal experience I was able to get in the program.
I didn't just want a degree that was a piece of paper and something to put next to my name. I wanted a degree program that was going to challenge me and push me to grow not only as a coach and possible future administrator, but also as a servant of Christ.
What greatly appealed to me was that I wouldn't feel like a number. And so going throughout the entire program, I just feel like I left knowing my classmates so well, I knew faculty members so well, and built connections that I will continue to use throughout my professional and personal life.
Hi, welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Caleb Kukin, joined here by Abby Zimmerman. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. And you're going to be playing the violin later for us after this interview. And what inspired you to choose the song you're going to be playing?
Yeah, so I actually just had a senior recital and last night. So that is kind of, it was on the program, but also I picked this song to be on the program because it was one of the first pieces that inspired me to play the violin. I heard a lot of professionals playing it. I was like, that's really pretty. I want to learn how to play that instrument so I can play that piece. So that's kind of the inspiration behind that.
So you just talked about why you're interested in playing that piece. The violin in general, what interested you in that instrument originally?
It's like the voice, but it's just so like lyrical and beautiful. Like the high parts sound really great, except when I play them. They're hard to get in tune, but when you can get them right, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, so has pursuing a career in music with your violin always been a dream of yours?
Yeah, I started piano when I was 5, and then I started violin when I was 10, and it was at my first orchestra concert when I was 12 that I was like, this feeling of like making music with other people and presenting it to an audience is amazing, and I want to do this for the rest of my life. So kind of, it has been what I've wanted to do all my life. So.
What do you think is a harder instrument to play, piano or violin?
Violin, because the piano, it's all just right there. Violin, if you move your finger like a millimeter away, it's a different note and it's out of tune. So
ruin the whole
yeah.
thing. So you just mentioned, or you just had your senior recital. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was great. I was a little stressed about all of it, but it turned out fantastic. And the whole goal of my performance last night was to present like the progress that I've been able to make in my 4 years here at Messiah. And you know, the audience enjoyed it, and I had a great time. I actually was like fully aware of what was going on and remembered everything, because usually when I'm nervous, I completely like don't know what happened. But it went well, and it was great.
So you're a Chinese studies minor.
Yes.
What inspired you to choose that as a minor?
Yeah, so I'm half Chinese. So my mom's Chinese. I grew up in China for 5 years, and I wanted to keep up the language so that I don't forget it, and also like learn more about the culture now that I'm older and can appreciate it more. So.
And I know Chinese is one of those languages where it's all about like inflection too,
yeah.
right? If you just mess up your inflection.
If you say a different tone, you mean something completely different, and it could be really offensive.
I can barely learn Spanish, so I can't even imagine trying to learn Chinese. So what are like some of the, besides taking Chinese, what are some of the other challenges you have with balancing the fact that you're playing violin and these studies here at Messiah?
Yeah. So besides like academics and gen eds and like classes for my minor, I have a lot of ensembles that require a lot of practicing, and like orchestra meets 3 hours a week, and it's just like a lot of time commitment for ensembles plus practicing. So like when I'm done with my homework, I'm actually not able to relax. I've got to go practice and then do it all over again. So it's a lot balancing between both things, but they're a break from each other, which is good.
Yeah, so what would you say, you graduate Messiah, what's kind of like your goal for right when you graduate Messiah? Like what do you plan on doing?
I'm currently auditioning for grad schools. I would love to keep learning more about violin performance and get my master's degree. I also am currently teaching private lessons, so I have a few students now, and I'd love to keep doing that wherever I end up moving to for grad school or whatever. Grad school's not set in stone, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of what I'm working towards right now.
Okay, and you mentioned your senior recital you had. Is there any other upcoming performances that anybody watching could see you in?
Yeah, the next performance that I'm in is not a solo one, but it's the Messiah University Symphony Orchestra. We have a concert on February 23rd at 7:30 p.m., I believe. So we're playing Tchaikovsky Romeo and Juliet, which is really fun.
So would you prefer playing maybe in a symphony rather than yourself? Like what would be the difference? Yeah.
There's less attention on me as the soloist when I'm in the orchestra. There are moments for solos, and everyone's important, but making music with everybody and not being up there by myself is really fun.
Is there anything about maybe violin or your academics that we missed that you want to talk about?
No, I think you got it all.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to be right back after this break because Abby's going to be showing us her skills on the violin.
All right, good work on that. Mark, did you do your half of the project?
Yes. I should get that to you today.
So when I'm dead, I I needed that done by EOD on Friday. What did you do with all that time?
Now see, when you said end of December...
I'm gonna stop you right there. EOD means end of day. We needed that done by Friday.
Wait, the semester ends in like a week and a half. How did you plan on turning it in at the end of December?
Well, we have to turn something in. It's due tomorrow. Bro, are you listening?
Where am I? Who am I? How did I get here?
I quit.
I am so grateful for the ways that Messiah has helped me see my career anew. Thanks to my education and this journey at Messiah, I was able to achieve my goal of being a professor. And so every day I get to share my experiences, my faith, and my education with students.
Messiah definitely gave me an idea of what my future could look like. It gave me a vision for all the possibilities that existed for my life through the example of alumni, other students that were just a little bit ahead of me in coursework, the professors that came before me and maybe have graduated from Messiah. There's just such a community that existed and a model of success that was proven time and time again through Messiah. And so that was kind of one of the reasons why I chose to come here and why I continue to love it.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. Abby, take it away. was incredible. Thank you so much for joining us and doing that for us. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for YB Tonight. But before we step away, I do want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Reed Milliken, our senior director. It is his birthday today, so happy birthday, Reed. But that is all for YB Tonight. So have a great night, Messiah.